welcome to the Asian American Forward podcast. I'm really excited today because we are talking with a candidate for California State Assembly, Teresa Keng. Teresa, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you? And Don, of course, thank you for, as usual, joining me and, of course, connecting me with our guests.
Yeah, hi Teresa, hi Katie, and hi everyone. We're happy to coming back again and for the Asian American Forward podcast.
Well, Teresa, you're in the midst of campaigning, so I want to get right to it because I'm sure you're super busy. So I want to just start by giving you the opportunity to kind of introduce yourself to our audience. You've been on Fremont City Council, and so I was also hoping you could tell us a little bit about why you've decided to run for state assembly now in California.
Sure, yes, thank you so much. Yeah, so, I'm a first generation immigrant from Taiwan. So actually I was born in Hong Kong. So, my dad went to Taiwan for college, and that's he met my mom, and then I came to California when I was 15 as a high school student with my sister, and I think a lot of actually in Fremont, we have more than 50% of our residents were born outside of the country. So we have a lot of immigrants in our community. And when I first ran for city council back in 2018, our district hasn't had a city council representation for 12 years before me. So, actually, I was never super interested in politics before, but my husband saw, the new position opening, and then he's like, hey, I think you should run. And I'm like, what the heck? I never had the thought, of running for office, but, I really feel that, the community needs representation, and especially, from a women's voice and with the first generation immigrant, and we need a representation for our community, for the different, voices that we need to have on the city council. Yeah. So, since I've been elected, I actually been reelected already last year. And, I think thank you. And, one of the things that people like most about me is, the transparency and accessibility. And, I think a lot of times we feel like there's a huge disconnect with the government, with the people. And, they're not I own a restaurant here in my district locally. And, about small businesses, you need the best customer service, right? To keep your customers happy. And then, I actually see government as, when you're serving the people, you need to have good customer service too. And then not feel like, people shouldn't feel like they need to jump through hoops to get to resources that they need. And, they need to, just be treated, well, right? And, a lot of times they don't feel that way. And, I think I'm running for assembly now because I feel like, especially with the pandemic, going on, California has a lot of urgent issues that needs action right now. And we need affordable housing, we need healthcare, we need a Green New Deal, and education. So, actually being the home of Silicon Valley and, all the $1 million starter homes around us, we actually have the highest poverty rate in the country. And so, with the pandemic, it only exacerbated the wealth disparities. So, the homeowners have a huge, they're seeing a huge increase on their, home values, but then the renters are being, out of jobs, and, their kids are at home. They've been home for the last year and a half with the pandemic, and, they can't go out to work. So, it's a lot going on. And we, in our district, we have, some communities that are needing help right now, and it's not being done right now.
Teresa, you and I has been working for many years together, and I know you are the dedicated Yangan to support Andrew. Is there any personal reason, or it's a family reason, or your personal experience that connect you with the support Andrew Yan to run? And what's the relationship for the currently your family business and any connection there, and to inspire you to run for this new position?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, so I became part of the Yang Gang. When I first heard of, Andrew Yang wanted to give everyone, $1,000, I'm like, what is this guy about? What's he talking about? Coming from, and I think that's like everyone's first question, right? And then, but when I looked into his policies and then, the why and what, and then I actually, also read his book, it just really put a lot of issues to light, like with automations, a lot of jobs going into obsolete, and all the issues that our next generations are facing, the obstacles they have, and the high cost of living in California, and education too, right? They are, they have like student debt, and it's just, a lot of things that if we don't take the responsibility to help right now, it's only going to get worse. And then, our children, and then we're going to be the ones to blame. And so, I actually, I actually am very appreciative, of Andrew, bringing all these issues to light. So, I think that's what and all the Yang Gang saw as well. Like Andrew is really smart, and then it's like, wow, we have all these things that we need to work on right now, right? And then like the high poverty, the education, all the needs, and then so actually I went to Iowa to walk for Andrew, like the January of 2020, so just last year. And then it seems like so long ago because the pandemic has been going on for so long, right? And then I was actually also a surrogate for him. There was a women's march in Reno, and I was the surrogate, to speak for him, and then to the crowd. And so I think we, even though unfortunately he wasn't elected, we still need a lot of more support. But I think he really puts all these ideas and issues into the people, and then that's why we got like cash relief during the pandemic. I think that's like the most the fastest way to get help to people, right? So I think his ideas are actually coming through, and so it was great to understand all these issues, and really has motivated to run for this seat as well.
Yeah, and certainly as you point out, Andrew brought up a lot of different issues in his campaign, inequality, automation, childcare, and something else that has really brought many of these things up is the pandemic, as you mentioned, which is still going. So I'm curious, especially as someone who's both a mom and a small business owner, you've probably been really deeply impacted by the pandemic. So I'd love to hear about your plans for pandemic recovery and sort of what you think California's approach to that should be.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think, we need affordable housing more than ever, right? We need healthcare, and a lot of people, like they get sick. Like right now, when you get sick with the COVID, it's actually being paid by the government. But imagine, if you get ill during a regular time, right? A lot of people actually went to bankruptcy because they got ill, because they aren't able to go to work and can pay their rent, right? And then so we, like in Taiwan, where I came from, actually they have a universal health care, and it costs so little to go to the doctors, right? It's so accessible. And then here, drugs and having seeing and go to the ER is so expensive, right? And even like taking an ambulance. And so I think these are probably like the top issues that we need action right now, right? And then also like the environment, we see like the temperature is actually the temperature rising, like the global warming is actually worse than we thought, right? We just saw the reports. And if not, like the youth. Actually, the youth are starting to speak up, right? They're seeing, they're like, you adults, you're not doing this for us, you're going to be blamed. You're responsible. So, it's actually a lot to think about. And also I'm actually pursuing I'm a doctoral candidate at San Jose State for education policy. So I think, like California being the highest poverty rate in the nation, the education is the key to exit poverty. So, we really need to provide, accessible education to all the kids. Actually, right now, a lot of kids are not kindergarten ready. Even if they're eligible for a state-funded program or federal-funded preschool, there's only 1/3 of funding available for eligible families. That's what, a lot of people don't know about. And then, so we only have like a 60% enrollment rate for preschool, which is, really sad. And then, especially a lot of families don't know where to get to these resources. And then, like I said earlier, they have to like jump through hoops to get to them, right? So we're just not doing our part for our people.
Teresa, it's way back to the campaign because
Yes.
in your district, the incumbent been stay there for over 10 years.
Right.
And for your qualification, how you can pursue your constituency that you are more qualified as a new or fresh blood in the politics and the new force to represent the people in your district or it's around the country. It's 80 to 90% the election incumbent always win. Sure. But I personally think that the trend is going to change in 2022 or is 2024. So it's if you give some briefing of your confidence and convert this confidence to your voters, what's the message you can telling your voters that you are more qualified to be the new representative in your district?
Sure, yes. Yeah. So, I think I'm a small business owner and, being a mom and a small business owner, I'm actually also a wife of a veteran. So my husband served in the Persian Gulf War. So actually, I think we need a person that brings balanced policies, right? So, like you have to, understand where the, budget, where the money's coming from, but you also, we need the income, but we also need, accessibility for the people, right? So it's kind of like, I think a lot of times, like people think that, oh, you're too left or you're too right, but we need, a lot of bipartisan support for a lot of our policies. Otherwise, we're not going anywhere, right? So, like, I think I understand from both sides. And I have the, background for education policies. And I really think that, like right now we need more voices of women, of immigrants to represent our community. In our district, actually, we have more than 50% are immigrants, right? And then, especially in the Hayward area, we have a lot of underserved communities needing help. So I think, those needs are not being met right now. He's not fighting for our people. And yeah, so I think, we can't wait another 2 years when he's terming out and yeah, they needs to be done right now.
Teresa, I'm also really curious as someone who clearly has such a passion for so many different issues and also with you carrying so many identities as an immigrant, a mom, wife of a veteran, like all of these things. How do you prioritize all of those issues? So maybe like as a hypothetical, let's say you get elected to California Assembly. What's happening for you on day one when you take office?
Yeah, so day one, I think we really need to I think first we need to work on housing, right? We are building, all these like new condos that are, $1 million up for 2 bedrooms, right? But we need to provide housing for our working class families, right? So, right now, a lot of cities are not building affordable housing like on site in their projects. So, like we need to like make sure that those are being built and families are not gonna, like be without a roof, right? So, like that and healthcare, I think that those are definitely the 2 top priorities that we need to work on.
Yeah, Teresa, back to your personal experience on the small business. That part is very, very important, especially for the restaurant.
Yes.
And also for the entire California, it's all Asian or Chinese restaurant. A lot of immigrants, they don't know English very well. They don't know how to apply for the aid from government, both from state level and the federal level. Do I have a particular suggestion or connection, or is any measure to help minority restaurant owners and the small business owners if you are elected?
Sure. Yeah. So, I think we definitely need to help all of these mom and pop shops that are, like closing their doors in the last year and a half. Is really, heartbreaking to see. Like, I think we have more than 50% of restaurant closures in the last year. And we have a lot of, actually, I was a witness for one of the bills last month that passed in the assembly that are like kind of like putting more regulations on how much the delivery platforms could charge, because a lot they have a lot of hidden charges, and after all these charges, they're not making any profits. So we especially with the help for recovery after the pandemic, we need like more support. We need multilingual support. We need staff to reach out to these restaurants. And I think more importantly, because I'm a marketing person, I think a lot of times, people don't know that where you are. People don't know that you're open and what you're offering. Like a lot of people, are still working from home. And I think there's actually a market that is still, need to be tapped. Like, people don't want to cook 3 meals a day, right? So, they're like, they need to be helped, like, work on your website, make it easier to work, to order on your website. And so you don't need to, go through the third parties, right? So I think, there's like, actually, I've been working with our Chamber of Commerce, ask them to like provide more marketing assistance to our local restaurants. And I think that's like more help than like, you can give them like a couple thousands here and there and just goes away so fast. But if you help them, to how to market their restaurants, how to make it like look nice and presentable, take nice pictures, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, that's certainly like, the saying, give a man a fish and he'll eat a meal, and teach a man to fish and he'll, eat for life or something like that.
Yeah.